Hi there. Welcome back to the Alcohol Experiment. Today is day 23. This is The Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace, read to you by me, Melissa O'Malley. Today's chapter is called Alcohol's Effect on Your Health, and we also have an ACT exercise called Alcohol and Anger. So this is a really important one, you know? They're all really good. Um, this book is such a gift, but this one we're really breaking down how alcohol impacts the body. So let's do it. We always start with a quote. This one is by Charles Darwin. It says, "It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." Hmm. Have you ever thought about how amazing your body is? Think about its ability to survive challenges and overcome illness. It's an unbelievably complex organism that is both hard as nails and delicate at the same time. Something as tiny as a germ can send it reeling for weeks, yet you can abuse it for years and it will still keep you alive. We take our bodies for granted so often and don't give ourselves the love and attention we need to truly thrive. The truth is, the better we take care of our bodies, the better they will take care of us. You probably know that drinking is bad for your health in general, but you may not be aware of how harmful it truly is. Our culture tries to soothe its own guilt over drinking by finding obscure ways to say it's healthy. There may be certain chemicals in a glass of red wine that are beneficial, but the overall damage that wine can cause far outweighs the benefits. If you want to dive deep into the science behind all the ways alcohol can harm your health, you might want to check out my first book, This Naked Mind. For now, though, let's go through the basics. The information below was compiled from a variety of studies, but the primary source is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Your brain. Alcohol slows the pace of communication between neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that transmit messages between different parts of your brain and body. It interrupts your brain's pathways, literally reducing the speed of delivery of information between parts of your brain and body by slowing down your brain's neural highways. It slows connections from your senses, deadening them and decreasing your responsiveness. Your cerebellum, limbic system, and cerebral cortex are the most vulnerable to alcohol. Your cerebellum is responsible for motor coordination, memory, and emotional response. Your limbic system monitors your memories and emotions. And your cerebral cortex manages activity, including planning, social interaction, problem solving, and learning. It comes as no surprise that alcohol hinders motor coordination. After all, being tipsy or unable to walk a straight line is a classic indicator of alcohol use. But did you know that alcohol robs you of your natural ability to manage your emotions? This is why alcohol causes unhappiness and irritability, and why some drinkers describe their binges as either crying jags or fits of rage. What is more terrifying is that over time, the artificial stimulation your brain receives from drinking makes you neurologically unable to experience the pleasure you once did from everyday activities, such as seeing a friend, reading a book, or even having sex. Alcohol interferes with your ability to behave, think, and interact socially. Drinking impedes your natural capacity to remember, learn, and solve problems. Just one bout of heavy drinking means five drinks in two sorry, just one bout of heavy drinking, meaning 5 drinks in 2 hours for men or 4 drinks in 2 hours for women, can cause permanent alterations in your nerve cells and reduce the size of your individual brain cells. Toxins released by your liver, passed into your brain during alcohol metabolism, are responsible for poor sleep, mood imbalance, personality changes like violence or weeping, anxiety, depression, and a shortened attention span, and they can result in coma and death. Your heart. Your heart beats 100,000 times per day and carries 2,000 gallons of blood through your body. That's a big job. Alcohol weakens the heart muscle so that it sags and stretches, making it impossible to contract effectively. When your heart can no longer contract efficiently, you are unable to transport enough oxygen to your organs and tissues, so your body is no longer nourished appropriately. Drinking large amounts in one sitting, even on rare occasions, can affect the electrical system that regulates your heartbeat. Your heart may not beat hard enough, which can cause your blood to pool and clots to form. The opposite can also happen. Your heart can beat too fast, which doesn't allow for the chambers to fill with blood. In return, an insufficient amount of alcohol of In return, an insufficient amount of oxygen pumps out to your body. As a result, binge drinking raises your likelihood of having a stroke by 39%. Your blood vessels are stretchy like elastic so that they can transport blood without putting too much pressure on your heart. Drinking alcohol releases stress hormones that constrict your blood vessels, elevate your blood pressure, and cause hypertension, in which the blood vessels lose that elasticity. Your liver. 2 million Americans suffer from alcohol related liver disease, making it a leading cause of illness and death. Your liver stores nutrients and energy and produces enzymes that stave off disease and rid your body of dangerous substances, including alcohol. When your liver metabolizes alcohol, it creates toxins, which are actually more dangerous than the alcohol itself. Alcohol damages liver cells by causing inflammation, and it weakens your body's natural defenses. Liver inflammation disrupts your metabolism, which impacts the function of other organs. Further, inflammation can cause liver scar tissue to build up. Simultaneously, your liver function suffers because alcohol alters the natural chemicals in the liver needed to break down and remove scar tissue. Drinking also causes steatosis or fatty liver. Fat buildup on your liver makes it harder for the liver to operate. Eventually, fibrosis, some scar tissue, becomes cirrhosis, much more scar tissue. Cirrhosis prevents the liver from performing critical functions, including managing infections, absorbing nutrients, and removing toxins from the blood. This can result in liver cancer and type 2 diabetes. 25% of heavy drinkers will develop cirrhosis. That's a lot. Your immune system. Germs surround us, making our immune system our most important tool for fighting off disease. Our skin is the first line of defense against infection and disease, but if germs do make it into the body, we have two systems that provide defense: the innate system, which fends off first time germ exposure, and the adaptive system, which retains information about prior germ invasions and promptly defeats repeat attackers. Alcohol suppresses both systems. Our immune system uses small proteins called cytokines to send out messages about infection in a kind of early alert system. Alcohol disrupts the production of Cytotine, cytokines. When working correctly, cytokines, forgive me. When working correctly, these little dudes alert our immune system to intruders, and our immune system responds with white blood cells that attack, surrounding and swallowing harmful bacteria. Alcohol impairs both functions, leaving us more susceptible to pneumonia, tuberculosis, and other diseases. Further studies link alcohol to an increased susceptibility to HIV, not only increasing our chances of contracting HIV, but also impacting how rapidly the disease develops once contracted. Alcohol and cancer. Occasional drinking couldn't possibly cause cancer, could it? Yes, apparently it does. In a meta-analysis of 222 studies across 92,000 light drinkers and 60,000 non-drinkers with cancer, light drinking was associated with higher risks for many types of cancers, including breast cancer. A 7-year study of 1.2 million middle aged women highlights the direct and terrifying link between drinking and cancer. According to this study, alcohol increased the chance of developing cancers of the breast, mouth, throat, rectum, liver, and esophagus. The most frightening revelation is that the cancer risk increases no matter how little women drink. According to the National Cancer Institute, the risk of breast cancer was higher across all levels of alcohol intake. According to Cancer Research UK, there's no safe limit for alcohol when it comes to cancer. That's nuts. They say the same thing when it comes to pregnancy, and people know that and they don't drink. Um, that there's no safe limit when it comes to drinking to alcohol while pregnant. But they say the same about cancer. There's no safe limit for alcohol when it comes to cancer, and we don't know that. That's not. Anyway, it's crazy. It also doesn't matter what type of alcohol you drink. It's the alcohol itself that leads to the damage, regardless of whether you drink beer, wine, or hard liquor. Although many of us are not aware of the relationship between alcohol and cancer, it should not come as a surprise. Again, alcohol was officially declared a carcinogen in 1988. Alcohol itself, ethanol, is a known carcinogen, and alcoholic beverages can contain at least 15 other carcinogenic compounds, including arsenic, formaldehyde, and lead. Alcohol causes or contributes to Alcohol causes or contributes to cancer in different ways. When your liver breaks down alcohol, it produces a toxic chemical called acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde damages your cells, rendering them incapable of repair and making them more vulnerable to cancer. Cirrhosis also leads to cancer. Alcohol increases some hormones, including estrogen, but contributing to breast cancer risk. It also causes cancer by damaging DNA and stopping our cells from repairing this damage. In summary, any level of alcohol consumption increases the risk of developing an alcohol-related cancer. This is a discouraging message, I know. The good news is that even though there's no safe level of drinking when it comes to cancer, studies show that a reduction in intake, or even better, stopping altogether, lowers your cancer risk. Alcohol and death. You probably already know that you can die from alcohol poisoning by drinking too much alcohol in one sitting. What you may not know is that an alcohol overdose can also occur from continual infusion of alcohol into the bloodstream over time, resulting in death that does not correlate to a single binge. Early death from alcohol steals more than 2.4 million hours of human life per year in the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, alcoholism reduces life expectancy by 10 to 12 years. This information may lead you to ask what level of alcohol use is safe. According to the most up-to-date research, 2018, there is no risk-free level of alcohol consumption. In fact, alcohol use is the leading risk factor among people 15 to 49 years old and the seventh leading risk factor for death among all ages. The most recent and most comprehensive study says that, quote, the level of consumption that minimizes health loss is 0, unquote. Considering how many people drink every day, this is a sobering fact indeed. Today, give your body a great big thank you and decide whether that glass of wine or pitcher of beer is worth all the health risks you now know about. Once you learn the risks, you can't unlearn them. Day 23 journal questions. Remember, all the wisdom you seek is actually inside you. The most important words in this experiment are the ones you tell yourself. Take some time to answer these questions in a journal, a voice memo to yourself, or simply by speaking them out loud for only you to hear. Today's only journal reflection is for you to tell yourself what you learned in this chapter. Anchor it in. I know it might feel like you're just repeating what you just read, but it's vital for the subconscious to truly understand and for your actual desire to have a drink to change. Simply write down what you learned about alcohol and your health in your own words. Go into as much detail as possible and don't underestimate the power of this seemingly simple exercise. It's that. Okay. ACT number 10, alcohol and anger. Awareness. People tell me all the time that when they give up alcohol, everyone and everything seems to get on their nerves. For no reason at all, they want to lash out at people. They're frustrated, impatient, and angry, and they don't get why that's the case. This is a real phenomenon, and I want you to understand where it comes from so you won't use it as a reason to keep drinking. Let's name this belief. Drinking helps me keep my cool. Clarity. It's pretty simple to understand where this belief comes from because if you've ever tried to stop drinking in the past, you know that you do get short tempered. It happens, and we've certainly witnessed people in movies and on TV getting angry whenever their character gives up any addictive substance, such as alcohol, cigarettes, or even sugar. It's easy to conclude that if quitting alcohol makes you angry, then drinking must help with anger. We assume the alcohol must provide some sort of calming effect. Let's dig deeper into this one. You've been without alcohol in your system for a little while now, and you might be feeling on edge or short tempered with people around you. It's not that you're always like this and the alcohol was calming you down. It's quite the opposite. You're experiencing withdrawal symptoms as the alcohol leaves your system. You've experienced this before, though you may not have realized it. Think back on a few times when you were short with people. Maybe maybe these were moments of extreme anger or even violence, but you definitely regret your behavior. You weren't yourself. Take a moment to remember 2 or 3 of these episodes and notice where alcohol fit into the picture. Most likely, those bouts of anger occurred a few hours to a few days after your last drink. Is that true for you? It's because, again, the alcohol was leaving your system. There's a well documented link between aggression and alcohol consumption. Drinking is involved in about 75% of all child abuse deaths and half of all violent crimes. On college campuses, 95% of all violent crimes and 90% of sexual assaults involve alcohol. Why? What is it about alcohol that fuels all this anger and aggression? The biggest reason is that alcohol gives you tunnel vision. It narrows your focus so you can't or won't see extenuating circumstances. You're unable to accept any alternative points of view. Let's say you leave a sporting event and your team lost. Bummer, but you've been drinking and you're upset about it. As you're walking out of the crowded area, someone in the opposing team's jersey bumps into you. Your, excuse me, your perception is that he shoved you on purpose. He did it to rub it in. His team won and yours lost. Since your team lost, you lost. You're a loser. Had you been sober when that happened, you might have simply said, "Oh, sorry, sure is crowded in here." But when you're drunk, you lose your reasoning power and you're far more likely to react with aggression. You lose the power to read social cues and behave appropriately. That single bump could easily turn into a fist fight right there in the hallway. Chemically, as your blood alcohol content is falling, you experience a surge in stressors and stress hormones, such as adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline, in particular, is the hormone involved in the fight or flight response. When you're drinking, you're far more likely to choose the fight option. Aggression just seems like the right decision. And remember, alcohol also affects the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for helping us make good decisions. It's your brain's command center. The alcohol lulls that part of your brain to sleep, so you're less able to resist unwise behavior, like drunk texting your ex at 2 in the morning. In addition to the physical changes happening in your body and the brain, there are social ramifications linking aggression and alcohol. Because so many people drink, we all understand what happens. We all know drinking makes us more aggressive and edgy, so we're more likely to forgive someone who snaps at their kid or gets into a fight when they've been drinking. We all know how a hangover feels, so we're more likely to cut our friends some slack when they're short tempered. Because we can always blame it on the alcohol, we're more likely to give in to our more aggressive impulses. So, why do these feelings continue after we're no longer consuming alcohol? Remember that it takes about a week for the chemicals to stop affecting your body and brain. It takes time for the toxins to completely leave your system. That withdrawal process doesn't feel good. It's only natural that you're on edge for a while. Give yourself a break, be gentle, and let the cleansing happen. It might be a good time to take a few days away by yourself so you don't have to worry about hurting the ones you love. There's something you should know about anger itself. You may not realize it, but anger is actually a secondary emotion. It shows up to mask another emotion, but usually hurt or worry. If your children are misbehaving in a restaurant and you get angry at them, you might be feeling worried about what other patrons are thinking, or you might be hurt that they're not listening to you. You are probably afraid that your child's misbehaving is an indication that you are somehow failing as a parent. It's an insecurity. Either way, you react with anger to cover up what you're actually feeling. Anger or fear is a socially acceptable emotion. Everyone gets it, especially other parents who've been there themselves. Once you're aware of this phenomenon, it's fascinating to catch yourself getting angry and then trying to figure out your feelings. You can use your anger as a sort of warning light to explore what you're feeling rather than masking it with more alcohol. It takes courage, but you can step out of the moment and say, okay, I'm angry with the kids right now. What is it I'm afraid of? I'm scared that I'm screwing up as a parent. What if they never listen to me again? What if I can't ever get them to behave? If I were a better parent and not focused on my work so much, they would behave better. That's a lot of negativity. It's also a lot of weight to carry as a parent. Just be aware of it though. It can help you be kinder to yourself. Emotions can be powerful, but most of the time they're not pointing to something that is truly wrong. The temptation is to go have a drink to chill out and handle the anger. But you know that's not going to solve anything. In fact, things will get worse. So here's a great way to handle your hanger without your hanger. I said hanger. I guess that too. Here's a great way to handle your anger without alcohol. Change your physical state. Your mind and body work together to create all emotions, especially anger. If you disrupt that pattern by changing something physically, you can break anger's hold on you. Something as simple as a cold shower or getting some exercise works wonders. Screaming into a pillow at the top of your lungs can work great. Do some push ups or jumping jacks or play with the dog. Get active. Another tool you can use to diffuse anger is to consciously try to get even more angry. I know that sounds weird, but when I tried this, it was like a miracle. Let's say there's an anger scale from 1 to 10. First, evaluate where you are. Maybe you're annoyed and feel like you're at a level 6. Your teeth are clenched, your adrenaline is surging, and your blood is pounding in your ears. Okay, try to make yourself even more angry. Try to level up to 9 or 10. Don't be surprised if you find yourself laughing. Because anger is a secondary emotion, it falls apart when you try to use it as a primary emotion. If you are trying to be angry, it doesn't actually work. The feeling just goes away. Finally, using mindfulness as a tool can help you try to cope with frustrating circumstances and everyday anger. You don't have to sit and meditate on a cushion for 30 minutes every day, although if you want to, go for it. Mindfulness means becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings, consciously noticing when you're upset and thinking about what's behind that. When practiced regularly, mindfulness gives you a bit of space in your brain from the time you're triggered. And when practiced regularly, mindfulness gives you a little bit of space in your brain from the time you're triggered and when you actually get angry. Even a fraction of a second is enough to help you get a handle on things before you react badly. In that little bit of space, you can put the other tools into action. It's important to realize that the irritability and stress you feel as the alcohol is leaving your system is temporary. I'm not saying you'll never get angry or lose your temper again, but the additional edgy feeling will subside. turnaround. The opposite of drinking helps me keep my cool is drinking helps me lose my cool, or alcohol makes me angry and irritable. Come up with as many ways as you can that the opposite is as true or truer than the original belief. That's day 23. Oh, we're so close to the end. I hope you're feeling really empowered and amazing. Tomorrow's day 24. Are addictive personalities real? Looking forward to that. I will see you then. Let me know if I can support you in any way. Much love to you.